Rev up your engines! All right, you want to get a Toyota Tundra, do like this guy did. Well, we hope he did well. After we check it out, we'll find out. But it looks good so far. It's 2019 Tundra that he bought used because he watches my videos. He does not want to touch a V6 twin turbo with the 10-foot pole, especially since they recalled 100,000 of their motors. So he bought this with 60,000 miles, which is nothing for a Tundra. And he was smart. He looked inside. Because what does he see? Made in San Antonio. Right, this is one of the last V8s that they made in San Antonio. He added these beautiful side steps. He's going to get a cover for the back. But the main thing is what's under the hood. 5.7 liter V8 I-Force engine. These things can run forever. Now, I lived up north, so you can see the aluminum is pitted. That's just what happens. It doesn't mean anything. And the reason people want the V8s is because the torque, the power, and the longevity. I mean, I look like a genius when Toyota went to the V6 twin turbos in these Tundras only, when I said, hey, I think it's a mistake. I didn't realize the engines were all going to blow up and they got to recall 100,000 of them. I mean, I thought maybe they'd blow up at 60,000 or 100,000, but no, they're going well before that. These engines are virtually indestructible if you change the oil in them regularly. And that's what somebody wants in a big truck. They don't want a turbocharger that has more pressure, that's going to wear out faster. Like I say, I didn't think they were going to wear out that fast, but even if they would have built the V6s as well as they built these V8s, twin turbo on a V6 is not going to last as long as a V8. They're going to rev higher, they're going to have more pressure. These things are basically indestructible if you change the oil every 5,000 miles. And as I've said before, last year a guy brought me a twin turbo, and it was a twin turbo hybrid Tundra, and he got a whopping 16 miles a gallon on the highway. My grandson gets 15 in his 300,000 mile V8 Tundra that's old as the hills, right? So this lie about, oh, they're better gas mileage. No, the only reason Toyota's doing it is because they want to shrink down how many engines they make. They only want to make a handful of engines. So they'll make V6s and 4s, and then they got some of those crazy 3-cylinder ones, which I think is a big mistake. Some of them are blowing up. I mean, there's good enough power in a 4-cylinder. You take away 1 cylinder and throw a turbo on it instead. It's just a stupid idea if you want your vehicle to last a long time. So you can't buy these new with V8s. This looks like a new truck, even though it's from New York. There's no rust or anything on it. The frame problems that Tundras had were a long time ago. None of the late model ones have bad frames on them. As we look under, it's about 6 years old. Look at it. You can still see the markings on it when they built it. It's in immaculate shape. The only thing you see rust on are these body washers, and they always do that because they're just steel. Let's take a look inside. Beautiful leather. It is a TRD Pro after all. Look at the space. He's got a backpack here, so we'll move it over there. It is comfortable. Real 3 people in the back, or an armrest with cup holders instead. And what does it sound like? Solid. It's a solid truck. Look at all the room it's got. It is a little bit chilly out here, so we'll start her up. Get the heat going. Listen to that V8 engine. Nice black and chrome. And it is an ultra dependable Toyota 6-speed automatic transmission, which if you want, you can shift manually up and down. As you can see, there's a gear. You see 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. But this thing has so much power, most people just leave it and drive. We'll put it back in park though. The interior's in immaculate shape. You got your 4-wheel drive, 2-wheel drive. You can put it in whatever you want. And check out the rear window. It's electric, the whole thing, not just a little slide. The whole window opens and closes. Nice. But he wants to see if it's in shape, so out with the big computer. Well, that was fast and already detected it. Toyota standalone diagnosis. And as we can see, it knows it's the Tundra 2019 V8 engine, radar cruise. So here we go. We can do a full topology scan, so away we go. While it's doing it, we'll just kind of look around. Everything's in excellent shape. A truck with a sunroof. I think they're silly, but hey, it's got them. Now for a Toyota, it's got quite a few trouble codes. So Let's see if they are things that have been fixed and weren't done right. Main body's got a bunch of them. Let's see what that says. Communication with modules. I'm assuming at some point in time the battery was replaced. So we'll erase those codes. We'll see if any of them come back after we road test it. I'm assuming a bunch of these codes are going to be codes that came on from low voltage. Again, we'll look at this other one. Trailer brake controller. Output negative voltage. ECU fault. All this stuff is generally going to happen just from low battery. Now, there's no check engine lights on in a vehicle. So now this is often an important one, the ECM. So we're going to check that, but it's probably going to say loss of power. Again, we'll check that. That's the really important one. It'll probably say loss of power like it did on the other ones. Startability fault. Okay, that's very typical. The battery gets low, the key doesn't work right. It does have an actual key, which I like. And so we'll erase that. That's a meaningless code too. Yes, has codes. Navigation system, who really cares? We all use our phones. We'll just for kicks see what the trouble codes are. Bad battery will often do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to erase all these stupid codes. All communication codes. So we're just going to get rid of all of them. Here they go. They're all disappearing. We'll see what happens after we road test it. Start her up. And we'll look at live data. All the main live data. Here we go. Live data. Oh, it's cold, the machine's going a little slow. And remember, black's good, red's bad. We're going to analyze. And here we go. Mass airflow sensor's normal. Things black like it should be. Voltage is good. Both the long-term and short-term fuel trim. 3, 4. It's adding a little fuel. Now, this is a 5-6-year-old vehicle, so I would advise putting some of Bernie's fuel injection cleaner in it because it's running a little bit lean. They'll get a little bit dirty over time. This ATS fuel injector cleaner is really good stuff to stick in the tank, and it can make it go back. It's running perfectly fine. It's just that it's running a little bit lean, as you see, as it's warming up. It's running even less lean. Now it's 1.56. Now it's 0. Look, it's gone to perfect and up a little. They'll always move up and down. But the fact that it was 0, then it went up a little bit, I'd say they're probably a little dirty and the pintle isn't spraying a perfect upside down cone, that it's probably a little bit dispersing, so it doesn't work just right. Now it's back to 0 again. You can see, now it's back to 0. It's not red or anything, but you can see here, short-term fuel trim is 0 there. And the long term is now 0. So, a little cleaner. It's not going to be that big of a deal. You can see both sensor 1 and sensor 2 are 0 trim now, so it's pretty close. You can see it's hotter in the front than the back. The cats, they're all working perfectly. It's black, everything's normal. See if there's anything else that's interesting. Battery module voltage is normal because it's running. That's right. So the electrical problem would have been the battery had been replaced. And everything else you can see. The misfire counts, all 8 of course, are 0. It's not misfiring at all. So let's take it for a spin, see if any of those codes come back. And as I suspected, it's got a new battery. That's why all the codes trip. Got a backup camera, works pretty good. You can see where you're going. I can follow the road instead of driving in my yard. It'll smooth the silk. It's a big truck, so we know it's going to go over the hump fine. Over we go. Whee! And for a big old truck, it's got a decent ride. It's handling these horrible Rhode Island roads quite well. A dangerous intersection here. Here we go. Woo! Baby's got power. That's why people buy these V8 engines. Plenty of power, smoothness. They made a big mistake putting those turbo V6s in these things. I don't care what they think. They should have left these alone with V8s. That's what people want. That's why you want to get one of these, hurry up and get it before they're all high mileage V8s. You got this one with 60-something thousand miles on it 3 months ago. Eventually there aren't going to be too many low mileage ones left. Feel like you're driving a big truck because you are. People that want a truck like this Tundra, they want a big V8 in a big truck. Not some crappy little 4-cylinder turbo like the Silverado's having a bunch of them. Hey, there was a guy the other day, he had a Silverado with like 600 miles on it. 2 of the cylinders went because it was a 4-cylinder turbo. No, get a V8 if you want a big truck. Nice loud turn signal for old people like me, so you can actually hear it and then turn it off when you don't need it. So all in all, this thing's in excellent shape. Generally, they all are, but really, when you're buying a used vehicle, you can't trust anybody these days. You just can't. You can see none of the trouble codes came back. Get them before they're gone. Good low mileage used Tundras, because they don't make them like they used to. And this one is in such excellent shape. Hey, he's adding a bumper bumpers and everything too to make it look nicer, and putting a top on the back and having it all detailed. Get a used V8. Don't even think about buying a Turbo 6 if you want something that's going to last. These things are so dependable as long as they haven't been in a massive wreck or something like that. Hey, found one like this, buy it. Don't regret buying a Turbo V6 just because you wanted a new vehicle. Hey, remember one thing. As soon as you buy a new vehicle, the next day, it's a used car anyway. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.